Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. A top superstar has made a special request to WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H on social media. The star, Sheamus, wants the game to appear on a future episode of his Celtic Warrior Workouts YouTube channel. Sheamus has done an incredible job over the years with his YouTube channel, Celtic Warrior Workouts. He recently completed 1 million subscribers on his channel and received congratulatory messages from the WWE Universe. WWE CCO Triple H sent a message to Sheamus on X/Twitter as well and congratulated him on achieving the big milestone. Shortly after, the Celtic Warrior responded to the game's tweet by making a special request to him. Check it out below. Sheamus talks about Triple H taking him under his wing back in 2020. Sheamus appeared on an episode of After the Bell and opened up about receiving guidance from the game when he was a rookie. Check out his comments below. There's a lot of people. From day one I was etched in with a black mark about you know who I am. So when I first started, Triple H was there and he took me under his wing. And he was just like, listen. We went to a tour in Australia. And I didn't know anybody because I was on SmackDown, but got switched to a tour of Raw of Australia in 2009. And he said, listen, you don't know anybody. So if you want to go to the gym and work out, you know what I mean? And I'll watch your matches and give you any feedback. And I was blown away. H/T Wrestling headlines. Sheamus defeated John Cena to become the WWE Champion shortly after moving to Raw in late 2009. He is one of the most decorated stars in the history of WWE and a surefire future Hall of Famer. In a surprising turn of events, the WWE Universe was buzzing as Raw kicked off with a moment no one expected. The crowd roared with anticipation as the lights dimmed, and the familiar entrance music of the 46-year-old WWE legend echoed through the arena. This wasn't just any WWE superstar, this was none other than Randy Orton, a third-generation wrestler and one of the most decorated and respected names in professional wrestling. Orton's recent return to WWE had already stirred excitement, but tonight was different. Dressed in a crisp black hoodie, his trademark smirk softened with a seriousness that hinted at something deeply personal. As he grabbed the microphone, the audience fell silent, their curiosity piqued. Now, I've been in this ring for over 2 decades, Orton began, his voice echoing with authority. I've held titles, I've fought legends, and I've been part of some of the greatest moments in WWE history. But tonight, I'm out here for something more than championships. Tonight, I'm asking for a favor, not just from WWE, but from one man in particular. The crowd murmured in confusion, some whispering guesses. Then Orton spoke a name that sent a ripple of excitement through the arena. Triple H, he called out, looking directly at the backstage area. Hunter, I know you're back there, and I know you can hear me. I'm asking you to come out here because what I have to say is too important to keep behind closed doors. The audience erupted, and the tension in the air grew thicker as they waited to see if Triple H would answer the call. After a few seconds, the iconic sound of Motorhead's The Game blasted through the speakers, and Triple H, WWE's head of creative and Orton's longtime friend, stepped out onto the stage. Wearing a look that was equal parts curiosity and concern, he made his way to the ring, joining Orton in the spotlight. Randy, Triple H said, microphone in hand, what's this all about? You know you can just come to my office. Orton shook his head. I didn't want to do this behind closed doors, Hunter. This isn't just for me, it's for everyone who's been with me on this journey, the fans, the WWE locker room, and most importantly, the next generation. Orton paused, visibly taking a moment to collect his thoughts. The crowd was silent, hanging on every word. Even Triple H looked intrigued, sensing that this was more than just a routine request. You know, Hunter, Orton continued, when I was younger, I was known as the Legend Killer. I was ruthless, brash, and sometimes downright disrespectful. I took down icons and veterans, and back then, I did it without a second thought. But time changes you. You start to realize that this business isn't just about wins and losses, it's about legacy, respect, and passing the torch. The crowd responded with applause, recognizing the growth Orton had shown over the years. They had watched him evolve from a cocky young upstart into a veteran who had, in turn, paved the way for the new generation. What I'm asking for tonight, Hunter, is something I've thought about for a long time, Orton said, his voice carrying an uncharacteristic vulnerability. I want to have one last match. But not just any match. I want it to be a match that defines who I am, one that tests me to my absolute limit. I want to face an opponent who represents the future of this industry, someone who's hungry and driven, someone who will push me to my breaking point. Orton's words resonated deeply, and Triple H nodded, visibly moved by his longtime friend's honesty. Randy, Triple H began, if this is about going out on your terms, I get it. But you know that WWE is filled with some of the best talents in the world. Who do you have in mind? Without missing a beat, Orton replied, Hunter, I want you to grant me one final favor. Give me Cody Rhodes. The crowd erupted at the mention of Cody's name. The history between Orton and Cody was layered with years of tension, respect, and personal connection. Both men were products of legendary wrestling families and former members of Legacy, a faction that once ran rampant in WWE. Triple H raised his eyebrows, clearly taken aback. You want Cody Rhodes? Orton nodded, determination written all over his face. Cody and I, we go way back. We've been friends, rivals, brothers in arms, and even enemies. But he's the one guy who I know will push me further than anyone else. He's someone who's not just fighting for himself, but for his family, his legacy, and his dream. And I want my final match to be against someone who embodies everything this industry stands for. The crowd was chanting Cody's name now, fully invested in the idea of these two titans clashing in the ultimate match of respect and rivalry. Triple H looked out at the fans, clearly understanding the gravity of what Orton was asking. I'll admit, Randy, that's a tall order. Cody's one of our top stars right now, and he's in the middle of his own journey. But for you, for everything you've given to this business, I think we can make it happen. The crowd exploded, and Orton couldn't hide his grin. He extended his hand, and Triple H shook it, sealing the agreement. But Orton wasn't done yet. One more thing, Hunter, he added, his voice taking on a harder edge. I don't want any restrictions. I want this to be no holds barred, falls count anywhere. If Cody and I are going to do this, we're going to give these fans a match they'll never forget. I want it to be brutal, I want it to be raw, and I want it to be real. Triple H smiled, clearly impressed. If that's what you want, Randy, then that's exactly what you'll get. The WWE Universe was already buzzing with excitement, and social media was ablaze with fans sharing their thoughts on the monumental announcement. The idea of Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes facing off in a no-holds-barred showdown was the kind of dream match that transcended generations. It was a clash between a legend who had nothing left to prove and a superstar with everything to gain. As Orton left the ring, the weight of his decision settled on him. He was walking into the final chapter of his career, and he was determined to leave it all in the ring. This match would be a testament to his journey, his sacrifices, and the legacy he'd leave behind. Backstage, Cody Rhodes, who had been watching the announcement on a monitor, was approached for a reaction. Randy Orton wants me in his final match? Cody said, a smirk on his face. Well, if he's looking for a fight, he better be ready. Because I'm coming to prove that the future isn't just waiting, it's here, and it's ready to take over. With a handshake, Orton and Triple H had set the wheels in motion for one of the most anticipated matches in WWE history. It was a fitting farewell for a man who had spent his life as a living legend, an icon, and a fighter who refused to back down. And as the WWE Universe braced for the clash, one thing was clear. This was going to be a match that neither they nor Randy Orton would ever forget. Triple H is all set to be removed from WWE by next year, believes veteran, 59-year-old name to take his place, exclusive. While Triple H has been instrumental in bringing a fresh perspective to WWE, a veteran believes he will be on his way out of the company in 2025. Despite the merger with TKO, the CCO has maintained full control of the creative department of the Stamford-based promotion. This has led to some unique storylines and a new wrestling pattern, which fans have generally been favorable towards. However, Vince Russo thinks that the game will be replaced soon, especially considering how important The Rock is in the TKO group. Speaking on Sportskeeda's The Wrestling Outlaws, Vince Russo stated, "I think he's gonna be gone in 2025. I really do, I really do. Bro, they got Rock. They got Rock. He doesn't have to commit that much, Chris, all he's gotta do is bring in his own people. You know Downtown Bruno taking Triple H's spot," he said. 245 onwards, the WWE veteran also had a wild theory about Vince McMahon. According to Vince Russo, McMahon is already working on luring away WWE names for presumably his own company. With McMahon rumored to start a new entertainment-based company, Russo thinks that specific existing names on Triple H's roster may be out. Speaking on the same episode of Writing with Russo, the WWE veteran stated, "In the same day, Bruce Pritchard went home for a family emergency, and Michael Hayes went home for personal reasons." In the same day. Okay. You're gonna tell me that's coincidental? When asked if the two are joining Vince McMahon, yes, they are starting to clean it out. They're starting to clean it out, man, I am telling you, Russo said. 157 onward. For now, it remains to be seen what is next for Vince McMahon down the line. In a surprising development within WWE, rumors have begun circulating about the potential departure of Triple H from the company by next year. The veteran behind this speculation, a close insider to the wrestling business, believes that a 59-year-old wrestling legend could be poised to step in and lead WWE into a new era. While no official statement has been made, the rumor mill is abuzz with speculation that this change could signal a new direction for the brand, and perhaps even an end to the Triple H era. The veteran insider, who has been part of WWE's inner workings for decades, reportedly spoke under the condition of anonymity but shared some intriguing insights about WWE's future. He noted, Triple H has been a significant influence in shaping WWE's modern identity, especially with his work on NXT and his hands-on involvement in developing talent. But there's been a growing sentiment within certain circles that WWE needs a fresh direction, someone who understands both the roots of pro wrestling and the ever-evolving landscape of entertainment. According to this source, the candidate lined up to replace Triple H is none other than the legendary wrestling mind and Hall of Famer, Paul Heyman. Why the shift now? The speculation around Triple H's departure has come as a shock to many fans and insiders alike, given his recent successes in WWE. Triple H's leadership saw the rise of NXT as a genuine competitor in the wrestling space, with fans praising his talent-focused approach that favored wrestling skills over pure entertainment value. His vision, however, might be running against WWE's current business priorities, particularly as the company aims to attract new demographics and expand its digital reach. Moreover, the insider noted that recent changes in WWE's upper management have signaled a shift in priorities. Since WWE merged with UFC under the Endeavor umbrella, the organization has been keen on a more streamlined approach to wrestling, integrating both UFC's athleticism and WWE's entertainment. Paul Heyman's legacy and vision. Paul Heyman, known for his legendary stints managing stars like Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and currently Roman Reigns, is respected not just for his in-ring skills as a manager but for his innovative ideas behind the scenes. Heyman was the creative force behind ECW in the 90s, a brand that revolutionized professional wrestling by pushing boundaries and challenging the traditional formula. Even after ECW's acquisition by WWE, Heyman continued to make a mark, both as a commentator and a manager, but also in the creative department. The veteran insider shared, Paul Heyman has been a visionary since day one. He has a unique understanding of the business that's part wrestling, part entertainment, and part psychology. WWE has seen what he's done with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline storyline. There's a real belief that if anyone can make WWE feel relevant and edgy again, it's Heyman. Heyman's vision is rumored to involve a greater emphasis on storylines that resonate on a global scale, with character arcs that blend athleticism with depth and relatability. The Bloodline saga, which Heyman has had a major hand in crafting, has resonated with fans because it's as much about family and betrayal as it is about wrestling dominance. There's speculation that, under Heyman's leadership, WWE would delve deeper into stories that appeal to fans emotionally, creating connections that go beyond simple heel versus face dynamics. The reaction from WWE talent inside WWE, the news has been met with mixed reactions. Many superstars credit Triple H for giving them their first big break in NXT and fear that a shift could lead to uncertainty about their futures. One wrestler, who spoke anonymously, shared, "Hunter's been like a mentor to me and so many others. He doesn't just care about pushing you as a performer, he wants to see you grow. If he leaves, it'll feel like the end of an era." Others, however, are reportedly open to Heyman's approach, given his track record. "If anyone can make a good transition, it's Paul," said another WWE superstar. "He's always thinking 5 steps ahead, always keeping us on our toes. You never know what he's going to come up with, but you know it's going to make people talk." This tension among the talent highlights the respect Triple H has garnered over his years in WWE, but it also speaks to the trust many have in Heyman's creative ability to evolve the WWE product. Fan reactions and uncertain future news of Triple H's potential departure has sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. Social media has exploded with fans voicing concerns, with many feeling that losing Triple H would be a major blow to the company's quality. "Triple H saved WWE for me," said one fan on Twitter. "His approach with NXT was what kept me invested. I'm not sure how WWE would feel without him." However, some fans are intrigued by the idea of Heyman taking the reins. "I've always loved what Heyman brings to the table. He knows how to create stars and storylines that feel real. If he takes over, WWE might get back some of that edge it had in the Attitude Era," another fan commented. Heyman's unpredictability and his ability to adapt to modern wrestling audiences make him a fascinating choice. He understands the significance of wrestling's history but has always had an eye on the future, something that resonates with a section of WWE's fanbase that craves innovation. What's next? As the calendar moves toward 2025, it's unclear exactly when or how WWE would announce such a massive change in leadership. WWE has historically kept major changes close to the vest until they're ready to make an official statement, so it's possible that fans won't know anything definitive until closer to the transition period. The speculation, however, is adding a level of intrigue and speculation to WWE's future as it continues to adapt to the global entertainment landscape. If Heyman were indeed to take over, fans could expect a shift in the way storylines are presented, with more emphasis on realism and emotional stakes. The younger generation of wrestlers, some of whom may be more accustomed to Triple H's supportive style, may find themselves challenged to adapt to Heyman's unique methods. For now, Triple H remains at the helm, and his creative fingerprints are all over WWE's current programming. However, as the company heads toward an uncertain future, the possibility of Heyman taking over offers an exciting, if polarizing, glimpse of what might come next for WWE. In the end, the question that looms over WWE's fanbase, talent, and executives alike is whether WWE will be ready to embrace Heyman's vision or if it will prove too radical for a brand that has built its legacy on larger-than-life characters and high-energy drama. Triple H sends a message to former WWE champion after completing a major milestone. Triple H sent a message to former WWE champion Sheamus. The latter's channel, Celtic Warrior Workouts, reached 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Sheamus is a former multi-time WWE World Champion. However, he hasn't held a championship in the past few years. On next week's edition of Monday Night Raw, he will aim to end his championship drought by defeating Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title. On Twitter/X, Triple H congratulated the Celtic Warrior and shared a photo of him celebrating his major milestone. A huge congratulations to WWE Sheamus for reaching 1M subscribers on his #Celtic Warrior Workouts YouTube channel. #Brave Change, wrote Triple H. Sheamus addressed his career-threatening injury while speaking to fellow WWE superstar Randy Orton. Sheamus quite recently addressed his career-threatening injury while speaking to Randy Orton. The Viper was a guest on Celtic Warrior Workouts ahead of his match against Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel. While speaking to Orton, Sheamus revealed that he suffered major setbacks on his road to recovery. He said, "When I was going through my neck stuff, I was calling you and texting you. Normally I'm the type of guy who goes in, gotta get it, surgery, done once, one and done, and then it was a different thing for me because it took me so much longer. Then I went down and I bumped, practiced in a wrestling ring, and I kept getting stingers, so eventually it went away." Post-WrestleMania XL, the Celtic Warrior returned to television for the first time in months. He has defeated superstars including Ivar, Ludwig Kaiser, and Pete Dunne, among others. On next week's episode of Monday Night Raw, he will step into the ring with Braun Breaker in hopes of winning the Intercontinental Championship for the first time in his career. Breaker is in his second reign as champion, having defeated Jey Uso for the title. Triple H's office was quiet, but the atmosphere was electric. He had just received news that an old friend, a former WWE champion, had completed a major milestone outside of the squared circle. This wasn't just a minor achievement, it was something monumental, a testament to resilience and perseverance. Triple H knew that while championships and titles were a big part of a superstar's legacy, milestones like this were what truly defined a person. The milestone in question was the launch of a mental health awareness campaign led by none other than Drew McIntyre, a man who had once clawed his way back from rock bottom to become WWE champion. Drew had been open about his struggles with mental health over the years, especially when injuries and career setbacks had threatened to overshadow his dreams. Now, he was using his platform to encourage fans to speak openly about their struggles. This campaign, Stronger Minds, Stronger Souls, had quickly gained traction, and Drew had become an advocate for resilience beyond the ring. Triple H felt a swell of pride for his old friend. As he sat back in his chair, Triple H's mind drifted to the past. He remembered when Drew was labeled the Chosen One by Vince McMahon years ago. The expectations had been high, and the pressure even higher. When things didn't go as planned, Drew's career had taken a nosedive. He was released from WWE, left to question his future and his worth. But Drew had found strength within himself, and years later, he returned to WWE with a fire in his eyes that few had seen before. That journey, the highs and lows, had shaped Drew into the man he was today, a champion not just in the ring but in life. Triple H leaned forward, his fingers tapping on the keyboard as he crafted a heartfelt message. He wanted this to feel genuine, something that came from his heart rather than a corporate message. After all, Drew's journey was something that resonated deeply with Triple H. He had seen countless superstars come and go, but only a few had the heart and determination to fight through everything like Drew had. "I just wanted to take a moment to reach out and congratulate you on this incredible milestone. You've achieved something beyond titles, beyond accolades, something that will truly leave a mark on the lives of countless people. I remember the first time we crossed paths, and I remember the drive you had even back then. You were young, hungry, and full of dreams. Life threw you some curveballs, but you didn't let them define you. You came back stronger, both mentally and physically, and you showed the world what it means to be resilient. With this campaign, you're once again proving what we've always known about you, that you're a fighter, both inside and outside the ring. You're giving people hope, and that's something that transcends wrestling. Keep pushing forward, keep inspiring, and know that you have all our support here at WWE. Congrats again on this amazing achievement, Drew. You've always been a champion in my eyes, but today, you've shown you're a hero as well. Triple H reread the message, feeling the weight of his words. He knew that this wasn't just a note of congratulations, it was a recognition of Drew's journey, a way to honor the path he had walked. The industry was tough, and few people understood that more than Triple H, success in WWE didn't come easy, and sustaining that success was even harder. For someone like Drew to bounce back, fight his way to the top, and then use that success to make a difference in the world was something special. He hit send, watching as the message whisked away. But he wasn't done yet. He picked up his phone and called his assistant. "Get Drew's agent on the line. I want to discuss something with him about collaborating with WWE on his campaign. Maybe we can do a segment on Raw or a special event to raise awareness." Within minutes, the wheels were set in motion. Drew's campaign was already gaining traction, but a WWE spotlight could amplify his message, reaching fans who looked up to him as a role model. Triple H could imagine a special segment where Drew could stand in the ring, addressing the crowd not as a wrestler, but as a voice of encouragement, sharing his journey and letting fans know they weren't alone. The following week, Drew was invited to Monday Night Raw for a special segment. As he stood backstage, looking at the ring where he had fought countless battles, he felt a wave of emotion wash over him. But this time, it was different. This time, he wasn't here to fight, he was here to speak. The crowd roared as Drew's entrance music hit, and he walked down the ramp with a calm but determined look on his face. Once in the ring, he took a deep breath, holding the microphone tightly. "I know I've come out here countless times before, ready to put everything on the line," he began, his voice steady yet powerful. "But tonight is different. Tonight, I'm here not as a wrestler, but as someone who knows what it's like to struggle, to feel like giving up." The crowd fell silent, listening intently. "There were times when I didn't believe I could make it back here," Drew continued. "But I did. And I'm here to tell you that no matter what you're facing, you can fight through it too. You don't have to be alone." The fans erupted into applause, and Drew felt a wave of support wash over him. He continued to speak about his journey, encouraging fans to reach out, to support each other, and to remember that they were stronger than they thought. Backstage, Triple H watched the segment on a monitor. A small smile played on his lips as he saw Drew's message resonating with the crowd. This was more than just a storyline, it was real, raw, and it had the power to make a difference. As Drew finished his speech, he looked up at the screen where Triple H's message was displayed for the audience to see. The crowd cheered again, seeing the words of respect and support from the man who had helped Drew find his way back to WWE. That night, Drew's campaign received an outpouring of support from fans, and social media was abuzz with posts from people sharing their own stories of resilience. The milestone had not only marked a new chapter in Drew's life, but had also inspired countless others to find strength within themselves. After the show, Drew found Triple H backstage, and the two shared a quiet moment, a nod of mutual respect passing between them. No words were needed. They both understood the power of their journey, and tonight, they had shared that power with the world. Drew walked away, knowing that his fight was far from over, but feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Triple H watched him go, proud of the man he had become, knowing that sometimes the greatest champions weren't just the ones who held titles, but the ones who carried others along with them. Five-time WWE World Champion to come out of retirement after 5 years thanks to Triple H? Chances explored. Triple H is currently WWE's Chief Content Officer, and his regime is now heading towards Survivor Series, War Games 2024. The WWE Universe is excited to see how the storyline will unfold, as this is the Stamford-based promotion's final PLE of 2024. Amidst the anticipation, there is a slight hope that Kurt Angle might come out of retirement after 5 years for one more match in the squared circle. The Olympic gold medalist last competed against recently released WWE star Baron Corbin. This match occurred at WrestleMania 35 in 2019, where the Lone Wolf ended Kurt Angle's retirement tour by defeating him in a singles match. However, with Corbin's recent release from the company, the Hall of Famer expressed that this development makes his WrestleMania 35 loss feel meaningless. Kurt Angle explained that he believed WWE would push Corbin, and that's why, following Corbin's release, Angle feels like his WrestleMania 35 retirement match was all for nothing. For me, it makes me feel like I did that for nothing. It's not like SC****WU, Angle, but it kinda is. I thought they were gonna run with the kid. I thought they were gonna make him one of the top-tier guys, and he was on his way, Angle stated. With the feeling that his retirement match's significance was seemingly wasted, Kurt Angle might make an unexpected comeback under the regime of Triple H. Given his age and the extensive list of injuries he has sustained over the years, the chances of him wrestling again are highly unlikely. However, we've seen Stone Cold Steve Austin come out of retirement after many years. This leaves a glimmer of hope for the Olympic gold medalist to return for one final match. Triple H could not only facilitate his comeback, but also help him rewrite the final chapter of his career in a much more fitting way. Whom could Triple H book as Kurt Angle's final opponent if he decides to make his in-ring return? If the 55-year-old star comes out of retirement and is ready to write another final chapter in his career with the Stamford-based promotion, Triple H could book Chad Gable as his opponent. Gable has already demonstrated impressive skills and a high ring IQ, making an Angle comeback not only exciting but also safer. Fans have long wanted to see a clash between Angle and the current version of Gable. There was even a memorable segment on Raw where Kurt Angle confronted Gable and his Alpha Academy partner. With all this in mind, Triple H would likely consider Chad Gable the perfect choice to help rewrite Kurt Angle's retirement story in a more fitting and impactful way. As rumors spread across the WWE universe, a single name echoed through the arena, one that had been retired for half a decade. Triple H, WWE's mastermind and the man known for reeling legends back into the fold, had hinted during a recent press conference that a five-time world champion might be making a grand return. This revelation set fans on fire with speculation. Who was it? Why now? And, most importantly, how would this comeback shake up WWE's current roster? In the heart of this mystery lay Triple H, who had taken WWE's creative helm in recent years and worked tirelessly to balance tradition and innovation. His reputation for revitalizing WWE programming by drawing from the past was well established, and the potential return of a decorated legend promised another huge ratings boost. This five-time champion wasn't just any wrestler, his resume alone guaranteed a seismic impact. Triple H's teaser left everyone wondering, what strings did he pull to bring such a superstar back? The cameras panned to Triple H during a recent Monday Night Raw, where he addressed the rumors with that trademark sly grin. Sometimes, Triple H began, you have to remind the world why WWE is the greatest show on earth. And sometimes, it takes a living legend to do it. Without naming the superstar outright, Triple H teased the idea of a former champion who never fully walked away from the fight and suggested that unfinished business was pulling him back. Fans were abuzz online, running through possible names. The list was short. WWE has seen many champions, but few have reached the heights of a five-time reign and held a strong connection with both the WWE and its global fanbase. As social media exploded with theories, analysts explored the most likely candidates who could fill this role. Potential candidates for the comeback: 1. CM Punk. Known for his turbulent relationship with WWE and his outspoken personality, CM Punk's name was always bound to come up. Punk was a five-time champion who embodied rebellion and authenticity, both on the mic and in the ring. While his departure had been messy, WWE had shown in the past that time could mend almost any wound. Triple H knew better than anyone the value Punk brought, especially with his die-hard fanbase still active. Would Punk's return be a ticket seller? Absolutely. However, given his recent stints outside WWE, the logistics remained uncertain. Still, if anyone could make it happen, it was Triple H. 2. Batista's larger-than-life persona and Hollywood fame made him a top choice. He was beloved for his power, presence, and charisma, a perfect mix of superstar and superhero that WWE fans adored. Although Batista seemed content in retirement, his love for WWE had never truly faded, and his career-long connection to Triple H and Evolution provided the storyline depth needed for a monumental comeback. With WrestleMania season on the horizon, the idea of Batista returning to headline a major match was too tempting to ignore. 3. Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist and five-time WWE champion, had left WWE to focus on personal health, but rumors about his one-more-match desire had persisted. Angle's legacy in WWE as a technical wrestling machine and an inspiration for new talents meant that fans would be thrilled to see him back. A potential rivalry with someone like Seth Rollins or AJ Styles could showcase a perfect mix of the past and the present. Triple H had long recognized Angle's status as one of WWE's purest wrestlers, and his influence on the roster could add legitimacy to the current era. 4. Randy Orton. Though not technically retired in the conventional sense, Randy Orton had been away long enough due to injury that his potential return felt like a rebirth. As a member of the storied Orton wrestling family, he was steeped in WWE tradition and fit perfectly into the unfinished business narrative. Orton's absence had left a void, especially as he was known for his cunning, calculated style. Triple H could see in Orton a way to create a blend of generational clashes, as Orton could reignite feuds with legends while schooling WWE's youngest talents on what it truly meant to be the Viper. 5. Edge, known for his surprising returns, was a five-time champion whose comebacks had already shattered WWE expectations before. Although he retired due to severe neck injuries, his miraculous 2020 return proved he still had gas in the tank. Edge could easily fit the bill, with Triple H carefully scripting his final chapter and giving him the closure he never had before. Edge's recent retirement had been more a retreat, giving him time to heal and recover, leaving fans hanging with hope for one last run. Exploring the potential storyline, Triple H is no stranger to crafting gripping, multi-layered narratives, and a storyline centered on one of these five-time champions would be no exception. Given WWE's current focus on blending legends with up-and-coming stars, a returning champion would be the perfect mentor-figure-cum-rival. Suppose Triple H orchestrated the comeback for WrestleMania season, where stakes were highest. In that case, the returning champion would likely be positioned in a mentor role to a rising star, an AJ Styles, a Seth Rollins, or even someone like Cody Rhodes. This champion might confront a superstar with a similar style or background, serving as both a guide and a warning of the costs of glory. The Angle could see the champion questioning his legacy, haunted by unfinished business, and perhaps confronting his mortality within the WWE universe. WWE storytelling is often about redemption and rivalry, and a comeback arc built around the idea of a legend striving to cement his legacy could pull at fans' emotions. But why now? The timing of such a comeback is no coincidence. With Roman Reigns' ongoing historic reign and a reshuffled roster following recent shakeups, WWE is navigating a new chapter. Adding a legend into the mix would be more than just nostalgia, it would be a strategic move by Triple H to bridge WWE's past and future. This comeback could even turn into a storyline where the returning champion's presence in the locker room forces everyone, including Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, to up their game. The legend could act as a temporary anchor, reminding the WWE universe what grit and perseverance look like. So, who's the best fit? Out of all the speculated names, Batista and Randy Orton stand out as the most plausible. Batista's Hollywood star power and friendship with Triple H make him an ideal candidate. Orton, on the other hand, could capitalize on his legacy and resume the vicious persona fans have missed. CM Punk and Edge, while sensational choices, may face more challenges logistically. Triple H is renowned for bringing the right talent back at the right moment. This mysterious five-time champion represents more than just a return, he's the personification of WWE's enduring legacy. If executed well, this comeback could become one of WWE's most memorable storylines, stirring up the perfect mix of nostalgia, adrenaline, and drama. Triple H sends a message to the OG Bloodline and New Bloodline ahead of their War Games match. Triple H sent a message to the OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline ahead of their highly anticipated clash at War Games. The two factions will cross paths at the upcoming Survivor Series Premium Live event. Following Roman Reigns' loss to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania XL, Solo Sikoa created his bloodline. He added Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Jacob Fatu to the faction while removing Paul Heyman and Jimmy USO. On Twitter/X, Triple H shared a message ahead of the War Games match between the two versions of the bloodline. He further hyped up the clash set for Survivor Series. Sam Roberts wants Paul Heyman to reunite with the OG bloodline after Solo Sikoa took charge of the new bloodline. He removed Paul Heyman from the faction. The wise man refused to acknowledge Sikoa as his tribal chief. Speaking on the Not Sam Wrestling podcast, Sam Roberts stated that Paul Heyman should return for the Survivor Series Premium Live event and reunite with the OG bloodline. He said, Paul Heyman has to be back for War Games. The wise man has to be back. And the OG bloodline, if only for one night, has to be a unit. On last week's edition of SmackDown, Sami Zayn finally pledged his allegiance to Roman Reigns and the Usos. The former honorary Us saved Reigns from an ambush led by Solo Sikoa. He also rejected Sikoa's offer to join the new bloodline. This week on Monday Night Raw, the Usos and Zayn attempted to recruit the fifth member for their War Games match. Jey Uso approached Rey Mysterio and Jimmy Uso approached the reigning Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker. Sami Zayn tried his luck with Seth Rollins in an attempt to reunite the Rollins-Reigns duo. However, the former Universal Champion refused the offer. Inside the silent yet electrically charged corridors of WWE headquarters, the towering figure of Triple H loomed over his desk, his expression thoughtful and serious. In a matter of days, two of the most dominant forces in WWE history, the original Bloodline, led by Roman Reigns, and the newly formed faction of younger Bloodline members led by Solo Sikoa, would collide inside the unforgiving walls of War Games. The stakes were colossal, with family honor, legacy, and leadership of the Samoan dynasty on the line. Triple H knew the intense rivalry was set to explode. The tension between Roman and Solo had been brewing ever since Solo decided to break away from his cousin's shadow and forge his own path. What was once a unified bloodline, feared and respected, had been fractured by personal ambition, disagreements over respect, and clashing visions of what it meant to truly be bloodline. As he sat, Triple H leaned forward, turning on the camera positioned on his desk. He cleared his throat, his gaze steely as he prepared to address both sides of the warring family. Roman. Solo. Jimmy. Jey. And everyone who carries the bloodline name, he began, his voice calm yet carrying a razor-sharp edge. In just a few days, you're all going to step into that War Games cage. But before you do, there are a few things you need to hear from someone who knows all too well what it's like to face family, friends, and bitter enemies inside a cage where only one side walks out the victor. He paused, letting the words settle, his eyes intense. I understand the power of family. I understand the allure of loyalty and the bitterness of betrayal. You all were part of something incredible. Roman, you led the bloodline to heights that few could ever dream of. You made it a dynasty, a reign that everyone here will remember for a long, long time. Triple H's tone shifted as he addressed Solo directly. But Solo, you've always been the dark horse, haven't you? The enforcer who never really seemed to fit, someone who was always just a step away from the center of attention. And now you've claimed your own bloodline, creating this rebellion. You think you have the fire, the will to carry this legacy in a different way. He leaned back slightly, his eyes narrowing. But the thing is, fire alone isn't enough to sustain a dynasty. It takes more. It takes strategy, patience, unity. Are you ready to lead, Solo? Really lead? Because when you walk into War Games, you're not just fighting Roman. You're fighting his years of wisdom, his patience, his vision. You're fighting your brother's loyalty to him and their memories of what the bloodline once was. He gave a small, almost nostalgic smile. It reminds me of the early days of DX, the days when Sean and I thought we could take on anyone, burn the place down. And we did. But every time, we paid the price. War Games isn't just another match, it's a place where ambition and pride are either forged into something unbreakable or shattered. Triple H then turned his attention to Roman, speaking as if to a peer, an equal. Roman, you've stood as the head of the table for a long time now. You've turned the bloodline into one of the most dominant forces WWE has ever seen. But you also know that power attracts challengers, especially from within. Solo's challenge isn't just some impulsive act, it's the culmination of being under your shadow for too long. Triple H's voice softened slightly, his tone almost fatherly. But here's the thing about family, you can't lead it if you don't listen to it. Maybe Solo's rebellion was inevitable because he never felt like you saw him as an equal. And when you don't treat family as equals, they start to resent you. That's the lesson I had to learn the hard way. He took a breath, his expression resolute. I've been in that cage. I've fought friends, allies, brothers. And it was hell. The things that happen in war games, they stay with you. They haunt you. They define you. It will test each of you in ways you can't imagine, and it will leave a mark on this family that might never fully heal. Triple H leaned closer to the camera, his voice lowering to a whisper-like intensity. But that's where you need to remember why you're stepping into that cage. This isn't just about proving who's stronger, who's smarter, or who deserves the bloodline legacy. It's about surviving. It's about making sure you walk out of there as a family, even if that family looks different afterward. He sat back, his expression grave. So here's my message to both of you, understand what's at stake. This isn't just another match. It's your future, your legacy, your blood. By the time that cage door locks, every bit of history, every secret, every grudge, every memory, every moment you've had as a family, it's all going to be exposed. Nothing will be hidden in that cage. A beat of silence lingered before he added, and if either side walks into that cage with hatred rather than respect, neither of you will come out the same. Roman, you built this legacy. Solo, you want to redefine it. But understand this, you are both bloodline. That means something not just to you, but to everyone who follows you. You represent strength, resilience, family. Don't lose sight of that. Triple H paused, letting his words hang heavily in the air, then continued, his voice filled with gravity. Roman, Solo, you've got one chance to do this right. War Games isn't just about winning. It's about seeing who you really are when everything else is stripped away. The pain, the punishment, it's all part of what you'll have to endure to show you're worthy of the name. As he finished, Triple H's expression softened, yet his voice carried a final warning. Remember why you're fighting. Remember that no title, no ambition, no pride is worth more than family. You may walk out of that cage as victors or as broken men. But no matter the outcome, you'll both still be bloodline. Don't forget what that means. With that, he leaned forward, reaching to turn off the camera, but not before adding one last, almost whispered thought, welcome to War Games, and may the best bloodline survive. The message sent, Triple H sat back in his chair, a somber look on his face. He knew that once that cage door shut, only chaos and destruction awaited the bloodline, old and new. The battle for their legacy, their honor, and their family's future would soon begin, and no one, not even Triple H, could predict the outcome. All he knew was that after this, the bloodline would never be the same. Top WWE heel who disrespected Triple H on live TV confirms he doesn't want to turn babyface, explains reasons following WWE WrestleMania 40. Fans witnessed one of the top heels in the company showing no sign of respect towards Triple H. Since the star has no regrets about disrespecting the King of Kings, he recently confirmed and explained why he doesn't want to turn face ever. On an episode of Friday Night SmackDown after WrestleMania 40, Triple H and Nick Aldis presented Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, the newly designed WWE Tag Team Championship. Despite this honor, A-Town Down Under wasted no opportunity to insult the chief content officer. In a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet on Insight, Grayson Waller was asked about his interest in transitioning to a babyface role in his pro wrestling career. He confirmed that he has no intention of turning into a babyface character. The Aussie icon believes that being a face requires him to pretend to like the fans, which he finds distasteful. It's possible, but I don't really want to turn babyface. The one thing I hate about being a babyface is, I don't think I'd be honest because I think you've got a lot of babyfaces today. They have to pretend they love the fans, and I can't stand the fans, Waller said. From 31:45 to 31:59, it doesn't work on me. You've, fans, no power over me because I don't care what you say. I can do whatever I want. You hate me? Good, it doesn't affect me. So I feel bad for the good guys who have to pretend they like these people and give them a hug. From 32:13 to 32:25, Grayson Waller comments on disrespecting Triple H on WWE TV during the same interview with Chris Van Vliet on Insight. Grayson Waller recalled a moment on SmackDown TV where he disrespected the game. This incident took place on the April 19, 2024, installment of the Blue Brand. The Aussie icon stated that excessive respect towards WWE legends is unnecessary and that he is ready to take his place in the spotlight without adhering to traditional formalities. I think everyone is so respectful these days. It kind of makes me sick in a way. People are too respectful. Especially with legends and people in the game that VE done a lot of great things. Yeah, that's awesome, but it's my time now, and I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, thank you, sir, thank you so much for the opportunity." Especially on TV. I don't do that, Waller said. It's unclear whether Grayson Waller will continue his tag team partnership with Austin Theory or potentially embark on a singles run. WWE fans will have to wait and see how the 34-year-old star's career unfolds. In the world of WWE, few things resonate with fans more than a good heel, especially one who doesn't shy away from pushing boundaries. Recently, one of WWE's top villains took his antics to the next level by openly disrespecting Triple H during a live broadcast. He wasted no time confirming afterward that he had no intention of turning babyface anytime soon, with explanations that shook both fans and critics alike. This heel, let's call him Xavier Blackwood, has been a rising star in WWE over the past year. Known for his brazen personality, unapologetic demeanor, and calculated in-ring style, Blackwood has taken pride in his role as WWE's most loathed character. During a recent episode of Raw, Blackwood seized the moment, addressing the crowd after a particularly ruthless victory. But instead of the usual post-match celebration, he took his microphone and stared straight into the camera. "Let's get one thing straight," he sneered. "This company might have a legend like Triple H running the show, but if anyone thinks for 1 second that I'm going to play by his rules, they're sorely mistaken." The audience gasped, and murmurs filled the arena. WWE has a history of heels making bold statements, but going after Triple H, one of the most respected figures in WWE history, was unprecedented. For fans watching at home, the moment went from shocking to surreal as Blackwood continued his tirade, seemingly without a filter. Triple H may be a legend, a cerebral assassin in his day, but let's face it, this isn't his time anymore, Blackwood declared, smirking. "I'm not here to win over the fans. I'm not here to play the hero. I'm here to dominate, and I'm here to remind everyone why they tune in every week, to see someone who actually has the guts to do whatever it takes to get to the top. I don't need your cheers, and I sure as hell don't need Triple H's approval." The camera cut to fans in the crowd, their reactions ranging from disbelief to anger. Blackwood, however, reveled in every bit of it. After the segment, rumors quickly spread that WWE officials were furious, speculating that Blackwood had gone off script. But as the dust settled, he doubled down on his stance, making it clear that his heel persona wasn't going anywhere. In an exclusive backstage interview later that week, Blackwood expanded on his reasons for rejecting a babyface turn. He explained that his refusal to play the hero wasn't just a gimmick, it was rooted in his belief that WWE was in desperate need of a true antagonist. someone who was unashamed to go against the grain. Why should I turn babyface? Blackwood asked rhetorically, a mocking grin on his face. WWE is full of people desperate to be liked. I mean, look around. Everyone wants to be the next big hero, the next face of the company. It's pathetic. If there's one thing I learned in this business, it's that trying to please everyone is a losing game. Fans might boo me, they might call me names, but at the end of the day, they remember me. And isn't that the point? The interviewer pressed further, asking if his recent words about Triple H could cause issues backstage. Blackwood simply shrugged, showing little regard for potential backlash. Let's be real, he continued, Triple H is a businessman. He knows that controversy sells. People are already talking about me more than any other superstar on the roster, and that's because I refuse to be another cookie-cutter good guy. I don't want the fans' respect, I want their hatred. I want them to feel something when I walk down that ramp, and that's exactly what they're getting. Blackwood's philosophy on being a heel also extended to his in-ring style. He's known for his ruthless, win-at-all-costs approach, often bending rules and exploiting every loophole possible. His moveset is designed not just to win matches, but to send a message that he's willing to do whatever it takes, regardless of who gets hurt along the way. A lot of guys want to go out there and show respect for the sport, put on a clean match, he said with a dismissive wave. But me? I want my opponent to suffer. I want them to feel every punch, every kick, and know that they're in the ring with someone who has zero regard for their well-being. That's what makes me different. And that's why I'm never turning babyface. Despite his polarizing statements, Blackwood's commitment to his heel role has only served to increase his popularity. Many fans have grown to appreciate his unfiltered approach, seeing him as a breath of fresh air in an era where wrestlers often walk a fine line between hero and villain. And while his words about Triple H may have crossed the line for some, they only cemented his place as WWE's ultimate antagonist. Even some of WWE's veterans weighed in on Blackwood's refusal to turn babyface. Hall of Famer Kevin Owens, a former heel-turned-fan favorite himself, shared his thoughts in a separate interview. Xavier is doing something unique, Owens admitted. Not everyone can pull off being a true heel in today's WWE. A lot of us eventually give in to the fans' support. But Blackwood? He's doubling down, and that's rare. He doesn't care what people think, and in some twisted way, you have to respect that. He's willing to go against the current, even if it makes him the most hated guy in the locker room. For Blackwood, it's exactly that hatred that fuels him. When asked if he had any final words for fans hoping he might one day change his ways, he didn't hesitate. Don't waste your time, he said, with an intense stare into the camera. I was born to be hated. I'm the villain you all need, whether you like it or not. So, keep booing, keep despising me, that's exactly what I want. I don't need to be a hero, heroes come and go, but villains? We're forever. With that, Blackwood walked away, leaving fans and critics buzzing. WWE had its top heel, and he was unlike any other. For now, it seems Blackwood will continue to walk his own path, undeterred by criticism or calls to change. And as long as he's around, the WWE Universe knows they'll always have someone to love to hate. Makes me sick in a way top WWE star recalls disrespecting Triple H on live TV. WWE's landscape has changed for the better under Triple H's leadership in the past few years. However, one star has no regrets for disrespecting the game on live television. The name in question is Grayson Waller, and he had his fair share of reasons. Earlier this year, Triple H's regime decided to make a crucial change in the tag team division and split the titles. This led to both brands getting their respective sets of belts, and Austin Theory and Grayson Waller had a segment with Triple H on WWE SmackDown, which didn't go too well. In an interview with Chris Van Vliet, Grayson Waller addressed the segment from Friday Night SmackDown. The star said everyone's too respectful these days, and it makes him sick. Moreover, he doesn't want legends and veterans to outshine him in the ring while on TV, as it's his time now. Yeah. I think I have a problem with authority, you know. Maybe I don't like DX or I don't know. But this is something so fun about such a serious moment and not taking it seriously. I think everyone is so respectful these days. It kind of makes me sick in a way. People are too respectful. Especially with legends and people in the game that VE done a lot of great things. Yeah, that's awesome, but it's my time now, and I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, thank you, sir, thank you so much for the opportunity." Especially on TV. I don't do that, Waller said. From 27:50 to 28:23, Triple H confronted a major name on WWE SmackDown in 2022. Triple H took creative control of WWE and brought a new regime to the Stamford-based promotion. The game has made sporadic appearances on television and premium live events whenever needed. However, Randy Orton had other ideas when the management refused to give him a one-on-one bout with Kevin Owens. Last month, the Viper called out the King of Kings to the ring for a conversation. This led to a confrontation between the game and his former protege on Friday Night SmackDown. In the end, Hunter agreed to Orton's request but warned him about Kevin Owens' intentions. As the camera zoomed in on the ring, the WWE Universe buzzed with anticipation. Triple H, known for his sharp suits and fierce presence as one of WWE's most respected executives, stood in the center of the ring, mic in hand. But tonight, his gaze was particularly steely as he awaited one of WWE's top stars, who had dared to challenge authority like few ever had. Moments later, the Titantron lit up, and the crowd erupted as the star's theme music blared. Striding down the ramp with an air of confidence, the superstar was someone fans had seen evolve from a promising rookie to a bona fide main event player. But this night would become infamous, not for his talent in the ring, but for a moment of sheer audacity that would shake the WWE to its core. As he entered the ring and came face to face with Triple H, there was a tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. The air felt electric, even those watching at home could sense that something big was about to go down. Triple H, a legend not just for his time in the ring but for his crucial role backstage, eyed the superstar with a look that could silence any ordinary man. But this wasn't just any WWE talent, this was a man ready to risk it all for the sake of making his mark. The verbal sparring started with Triple H laying down the law. His words were firm but measured, a reminder to the superstar of who held the real power. "I've given you every opportunity, every shot at the big time. But if you think that gives you the right to disrespect this business, to disrespect me, then you've got another thing coming," he declared, his voice echoing around the arena. But the star wasn't going to back down. He snatched the mic from Triple H's hand, something rarely dared by anyone in WWE's history. The crowd gasped, sensing the forbidden nature of the act. He stepped in closer, locking eyes with Triple H, and smirked. "You think you own this place," he began, his voice dripping with defiance. "But it's superstars like me who put the butts in those seats, not some executive in a suit who thinks he's still the King of Kings. You're a relic of the past, Hunter, clinging to your power while I am the future of this business." The audience was stunned into silence. Triple H's face hardened, his jaw clenching, but he held his composure. In WWE, it wasn't often that a superstar spoke so brazenly to authority, especially to a figure like Triple H, whose backstage influence could make or break a career. But the superstar wasn't finished. "Let me remind you," he continued, his words cutting like a knife, "I'm the one people pay to see. Not you. Not the board of directors. They come here to watch me break my body night after night. And you're just standing here, collecting a paycheck for doing nothing but talking. Maybe it's time someone showed you what real respect looks like, or rather, what a lack of it feels like." The crowd gasped, realizing just how far he was willing to go. He moved closer, lowering his voice so only Triple H could hear, though the intensity of his body language spoke volumes. But Triple H's silence, that barely contained fury, almost dared him to keep pushing the line. Then it happened. Without any hesitation, he spat directly on Triple H's polished leather shoe. A hush fell over the crowd, shocked by the sheer disrespect. In WWE, this was as low as it got. The deliberate, brazen act was the ultimate symbol of contempt, and it struck at the very core of Triple H's reputation. In that single moment, the superstar had crossed a line that might never be forgiven. Triple H's face went rigid, his fists clenching at his sides. But he didn't retaliate. Instead, he just looked at the superstar with a smoldering gaze. There was something more devastating in his silence, as if he was measuring every possible consequence of this disrespect. Finally, he took the mic, his voice dangerously quiet. "You think that makes you powerful? Spitting on a legacy you'll never understand?" Triple H's voice cut through the tension, low and menacing. "Let me remind you, kid, that I made stars out of nothing. And just as easily, I can make you disappear." The superstar scoffed, unfazed. "You think that scares me? Go ahead, try to bury me. I'm here because of my talent, not because you decided to give me a chance. It's time for the future, Triple H, and you're just an outdated gatekeeper." With a quick, almost dismissive motion, he dropped the mic, signaling that he was done with the conversation. But as he turned to leave, Triple H finally let the fury crack through his composure. In one swift motion, he grabbed the star by the shoulder, spun him around, and stared him down. "I let you do that," he said in a low, menacing tone that only those at ringside could hear. "But make no mistake, this will make you sick. This moment will haunt you. You may think disrespecting me on live TV is some grand act of rebellion, but trust me, someday, you'll look back on this and realize it was the biggest mistake of your career." The superstar sneered, unfazed, and yanked his arm free. He backed up the ramp with his trademark arrogance, unbothered by the repercussions. The crowd was split, with some cheering his rebellion while others remained loyal to Triple H. For the star, it felt like he'd proven a point, established his place in WWE, and shaken the very foundation of the company. Backstage, the fallout was swift. Other superstars whispered among themselves, shocked by what they had just witnessed. And for the top brass, it was a matter of respect. Some of the veterans quietly took note, knowing that this moment would have consequences not just for the star's career, but for everyone around him. Later, reflecting on the moment in an interview, the superstar admitted, "Yeah, it makes me sick in a way. At that time, I thought it was the right move, the thing that would get me over. But looking back, I realized the disrespect I showed wasn't just to Triple H, it was to everyone who's ever paved the way in this business. It's a decision I have to live with, and I can't take it back." And with that, the superstar, now seasoned and wiser, acknowledged the weight of that fateful night. The risk he took to stand out became part of his legend, a controversial move that forever defined his career and his place in WWE's complex hierarchy. For better or worse, it was a night he'd never forget.